Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance's Summer 2021 Empowerment Rally, Activating Advocacy for All. My name is Christine Beck, and I am the Alliance's Organizational Director. Today is day 4. It is Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. And the Alliance is proud to be an initiative of the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities. Next slide, please. So what are we going to rally around this week? Well, if you've been joining us every day, on Monday, we rallied around advocacy and leadership. Day 2 was Tuesday. We rallied around rights and empowerment, and we strengthened our self-advocacy muscles. Yesterday, it was all about legislative advocacy and how you can get involved in making changes. Today is day 4. We're going to take it down a bit and we are going to talk about wellness. And then tomorrow is our wrap-up day, day 5. Our call to action is the future of self-advocacy. And if you haven't made it to all the days, that's okay. Each of the days is being recorded. And on Monday, we are going to send out a link with all the day's recordings, all the handouts we've been talking about, and all the PowerPoint slide decks. Next slide. So let's get ready. I hope you have your supplies with you. So you'll need your Activating Advocacy for All handout. All right, everybody should have it. Hope you have an ink pen or something to write with. I've got my Zoom cards. I hope you have yours. Yes, thank you, Jay-Jen. I'm sporting my rally bracelet. This has really given me such excitement this week. You know, I look down and I think I am activating advocacy for all. And then if you are sporting your Alliance t-shirt, we thank you. Next slide. So our Activating Advocacy for All rally handout, you should be real familiar with it because we've used it for the past couple of days. So side 1 gives us an overview of each of the days and then an opportunity to write down our personal goal or goals for that day. And on the back side, or side 2, so Jay-Jen, there you go, thank you. Side 2 is all about me, getting to know me. And I have had a lot of fun with this side. And I know many people have said, I really like that. So we've been talking and sharing about what we really like about ourselves and our favorite foods and animals we like and television shows and singers and music you like to listen to. So we're going to visit that side again today. Next slide. Our Zoom rally cards. I've got my awesome. I've got my Activating Advocacy for All. And we're really going to use our yes and no cards today to speak up and speak out. I can't wait for that. And housekeeping, a couple of things. American Sign Language, ASL, and real-time captioning are being provided for your accessibility. So if you would like real-time captioning or to see the words that are being spoken printed on the screen, go to the bottom of your screen, click on the CC button, and then click Show Subtitle to see the live transcript. ASL interpreters have been spotlighted to keep their video at the top of your screen. We ask you to please stay muted in listen-only mode, and that enhances the experience for everyone by eliminating background noises. If you have a message with a concern or a question, use the chat box and send me a message. Please also use your chat box to share comments and ask questions. We have had great comments and questions throughout all of our days, and I know that is going to continue today as well. Use those Zoom advocacy cards to speak up and speak out. At the end of our day, we'll have 2 more raffle winners, one self-advocate and one staff and professional. And as always, we want you to have fun learning with and from each other. Another thing, we will have our 15-minute break. And if your body says you need a break before then or after then, honor your body and take the break when you need to. Next slide. This was so exciting for me to do today's word cloud. So from all of the comments and everything that was shared yesterday, I took words and I made this word cloud. Well, I didn't make it. A computer program helped me make it, but I think it's amazing. We talked about bills and the House and the Senate and the state and legislators and call and email and write. And then yesterday, someone put into the chat box, and I just had to include it at the bottom here. Advocate while you wait. We know that change can sometimes happen really quickly. And when that does, we're really grateful. And oftentimes change is much, much slower, but we have to stay with it. We have to continue advocating while we are waiting. We have to stay the course. And part of staying the course is staying healthy, healthy physically, healthy mentally, healthy emotionally. And that's what we're going to talk about today with wellness. Next slide. All right, Jay-Jin and Patty, take it away.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Are you all ready for today?
Oh, I'm super ready.
Great. Thanks, Patty. So before we jump into our agenda, just a little quick intro. Again, it's great to be with you all. As mentioned, I'm Jay-Jin. I'm one of the project specialists of the Alliance. And Patty, can you do a little intro of yourself?
I'm Patty Dietz, and I'm a self-advocate. I work at Futures Unlimited 1 day a week. Sometime soon, it's going to be 2 days a week. And I'm originally from 3 miles east of Cullum, and I moved to Pontiac 25 years ago.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Patty is also one of our Alliance ambassadors. So it's great to be co-presenting with Patty today on all around wellness. So to start with, Patty, could you please share with everybody our agenda for today?
Okay, yes, I can. Today's agenda: wellness, COVID safety, healthy living, healthy eating and exercise, movement and exercise, mental health and stress reduction, breathing and relaxation, relationship and sexuality wellness, advocate for health and wellness, self-care.
Thanks. Yeah, there's a lot to cover today, and we've been covering a lot. As we move through, you know, we've shared a lot about in day one about the Alliance and all the advocacy that we've done with your help and self-advocacy across the state. And on Tuesday, we covered around the rights and empowerment. And yesterday, we talked about policy and legislative advocacy. And some people may ask, why talk about wellness? Well, you know, all the advocacy takes a lot of energy. And if you want to do advocacy effectively, you need to keep your strength up. And it's really important that in order to be strong and to be effective, that we also be healthy and be as well as we can be. So it is important, and wellness and health does impact on the whole idea of advocating for activating advocacy for all. So to begin with, let's talk about what is wellness. So Patty, can you start asking some questions for folks?
Okay, here we go. Wellness is a healthy body and mind.
Yeah. So those of you, please hold up your yes or no cards if you to answer this question. Is wellness a healthy body and mind? And Christine and Adam, if you can just let us know what people think, that'd be great.
Yes, this is Christine, and I am seeing a lot of green yes cards. I'm also seeing some thumbs up from folks. So, yep, it looks like everybody agrees wellness is a healthy body and mind.
Mhm.
Fabulous. Yeah, thanks, Patty. Yeah, it is. Wellness is both your body and your mind. So next.
Here we go. Eating lots of sweets is healthy.
So what do you all think? Yes or no? What do you say?
Oh,
I disagree with that.
all right. We have some things in the comments. I'm seeing some no's. I'm seeing some yeses. Here's the thing: we all
Mm.
get to choose what we believe. I am
Mm-hmm.
seeing more no's than yeses, though.
Yeah. Well, and sweets. Everybody loves sweets. I enjoy lots of sweets, whether it's candy, cake, pies, or ice cream. But and in order to stay healthy, it's the key thing, and we'll talk a little bit more about a little bit later, is not to do too much of it. So eating lots of sweets may not be the most healthy thing. It could be fun, but it may not be the most healthy thing in the long run. But it's not, but we're not saying don't eat it, just moderate how much and even it out. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, moving on. Next one, Patty.
Okay. Being active and moving helps to stay healthy.
So
I
hold up
would
your
agree
card.
with that.
Yeah.
All right, this is Christine, and I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Someone has put awesome. So,
Ooh.
yeah, it is awesome to be active and moving to help stay healthy. Seeing a lot of green. So, there's a lot of folks who agree with that statement.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. Yeah, moving around, being active does help stay healthy because you're exercising your muscles and your body's moving, and that movement can also keep your mind alert. So yeah, it's all part of it. Fantastic. Um, and next one, Patty, please.
Staying healthy costs lots of money. Well, it doesn't really have to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would disagree with that statement.
Okay.
All right, this is Christine, and I'm seeing some yeses. I'm seeing some no's. I'm seeing some awesomes. Adam, what do you think? Staying healthy costs a lot of money.
Usually I think it depends of how much you spend it. So for me is no, because people spend it differently.
Yeah, no, thank you, Adam. And I appreciate people's comments and thoughts about it can cost money. And you're right, it can, but it doesn't have to. So it is a little bit of both. Um, Staying healthy in terms of how much money you spend is up to everybody, each one of us, to make our own choices. And some people who are able to spend more money and want to and choose to, that's up to them, and that's great. But if you don't want to spend a lot of money or you can't afford to, but you still find ways of staying healthy in your own way, that's fantastic too. And that's also practicing choice and making decisions. So yeah, staying healthy can cost money, but it doesn't have to. So it's a little bit of both. So thanks. So let's talk about, was there a question?
No, we did have a comment from Ginny that a ho-ho, which is a type of a snack cake, costs a lot less than an apple on Snap. And that is unfortunate that
Yes.
sometimes the healthier foods that our bodies perhaps need or that we would like to eat are more expensive than some of the unhealthier foods. And for people who, everybody's on a budget. And when we are watching our budget, those are some really difficult choices that we have to make. And perhaps that's something that you can speak up and speak out about and rally around to make some changes.
Yeah, just what I was thinking, Christine. So that's the concern about affordable, healthy food. If that's something that you care about and that's you're interested in, you can learn more about it and see if how you can get involved if you want to. So thank you for that, Jenny. So let's now move on to a little discussion and review of COVID safety. Um, we've the good news is that there are vaccines, and we're slowly moving toward a more getting back to before COVID. We're able to go out more and be more safe. But when the pandemic started, when COVID started last year, it was very scary. I know I was very scared because I didn't know exactly what COVID was or how bad it was and the importance of how to stay safe from it. And it is important to remember, even though we have the vaccine, there are people who are still at risk. So folks who are older, people who have immune deficiency, some of us that are and many people in our disability community maybe had increased risk. So it's important to stay informed and stay alert and be careful. And along with and um, even if we do go out, some things to keep in mind to, when we venture outside or socialize and get together with friends in person, if you're able to, is, still try to practice social distancing when possible and if people are comfortable, and the importance of washing your hands and just keeping things clean. And, this is true for COVID and being aware of COVID and reducing risk, but in general, health and safety and kind of being healthy and well, keeping things clean and washing your hands and washing your face is always a good step, as well as just staying healthy as well. Okay. So last couple of things about COVID is, because the vaccine is out, the importance of just encouraging everybody to help spread the word that the vaccines are safe. And if you know people who are concerned or who have not got the vaccine yet, in a gentle, friendly way, just encourage them to consider getting the vaccine. And the vaccines are free and they're available. And if you want to find out where in your local town, your hometown or community vaccines are available, you can go through the vaccines.gov website that's on the screen, or you can, ask your support staff to help you find out, or you can contact your local city, like your city town hall, to find out where vaccines are available. And I think even and now they've been getting available through like Walgreens and CVS and even some pharmacies. So they're becoming more and more available. So, and again, this the importance of gently reminding and encouraging people to take the vaccine and to let them know that the vaccines are safe. Okay. I want to share a video. Oh, was there a question? No. So, one of the things that the Alliance has had the pleasure of and just connecting with, as we shared on Monday, we have a lot of member groups and connections with a lot of self-advocates and member groups in our Alliance network. And we were, as during the pandemic, we had conversations and wanted to learn how the member groups throughout the state are staying connected because of social distancing and adapting through COVID. And I wanted to share a short video. This is an interview that we had with Jada Thompson, I think, and you heard from Jada earlier this week. But she's going to talk about how her group, AC Trailblazers, adapted through COVID.
So the pandemic for us, like all of us, was a terrible time to connect, especially since we were just starting out. But one of the best ways we were able to communicate and stay in touch is Zoom. It's one of the biggest things that we have. One of the biggest one of our biggest ways of communicating is Zoom, and we are also able to finally make an official Facebook page. So not only do we use Zoom, video chatting apps, but we've been also trying to use social media as a way to communicate and also connect with others and share about the things that we're doing. And I think that with Zoom, it makes it a lot easier for us to stay connected and be able to chat and catch up and talk about the things we want to talk about.
So I really appreciate Jada for taking the time to share her perspective. And I wanted to also ask, I know that there are many folks who've been part of our rally and who may be part of a member group. And to just share in the chat, how have you all adapted in COVID? Have you used Zoom? Have you used Facebook or social media to stay connected with each other? Kind of help learn from each other. What was helpful for you all?
Yes, thank you, Jay-Jin. This is Christine. And Jenny said video conferencing has been a blessing for the autistic community. So thank you for sharing that, Jenny.
Yes.
We'll see if we have any others up. Garden Center said we use Zoom or Google Meet to have our weekly advocacy meetings.
Cool.
Nicole,
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jay-Jen.
Oh, no, I was going to say, yeah, Google Meet's another popular video conferencing system. Cool.
Right. And people have used virtual or video conferencing to reach out to family members. So Nicole contacted her mother on Zoom. Mary says Zoom has been a blessing for advocacy groups. Iris has called her mother on Zoom. So people are using this virtual technology in a lot of different ways for self-advocacy, for families. Michelle says she uses Facebook to connect with folks.
Fantastic. No, thank you all for sharing. It's great to hear of just how we as self-advocates still find ways of overcoming our challenges and adapting and taking advantage of platforms and services like Zoom and Facebook and Google Meets. And if you use an iPhone, there's FaceTime, ways of staying connected with each other and supporting each other, as well as over the and what's really impressed me over the last year, even though COVID was scary and it created a lot of challenges, those of us in the disability community still came together and found ways of activating advocacy through having, using Zoom to have conversations with legislators and continuing to hold webinars, and just really, really impressive. And sharing about wellness. And even, we'll talk about mental health in a little bit, but the power of staying connected helps, keeps our mind and spirits well as well.
Yes, Jay-Jin, if I could add a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
KCCDD in Galesburg, resume our CAB, CAB, that stands for Client Advisory Board meetings monthly. Thank you, Jermaine. Jermaine has contacted his little brother on Zoom. Futures Unlimited has used Google Meets and Facebook. Thank you all for sharing.
Cool, that's great. And apologies while I readjusted my screen. So that, Patty, I'm curious, because you're in Pontiac, how did your community and your group adjust over COVID? Was Zoom helpful for you all?
I was able to use Zoom, but I was not allowed to use Facebook, but I was also allowed to use emails to keep in contact with people.
Great. Yeah, email. Yeah, we can't forget email. Email has been around for years, but it also can be valuable to stay connected, in addition to all the fancy video stuff that's happening nowadays. So great. So, again, I think I guess I'm trying to say, after all the bumbling that I've been going through, is just that I'm really impressed with everybody and our community of our resilience through this time. And thank you all for that. So in the theme of wellness, we want to spend some time talking about what is healthy and the ideas of healthy eating and healthy exercise. So our Alliance board that you all met on Monday, they came together a couple of years ago, and one of their instructions and guidance for us to work on was around healthy living. And as we worked with, as our team came together on what ways can we provide information or promote healthy living activities. And what we did was we thought, well, maybe we'll start out with doing some fact sheets around healthy eating, nutrition, exercise. And so we had a chance to work with some really great students at the University of Illinois, and in partnership with Patty, who was provided some expert information and guidance as we developed those, as well as Curtis Harris, one of our other ambassadors, also provided some input and guidance in developing the fact sheets. So in all the work and research, we came up with a fact sheet all around healthy eating and nutrition. And there's a lot of information, a lot of really good information through a lot of different websites and services. And there's also some inaccurate information too. But with the help of our students and Patty and Curtis, we filtered through some stuff and came up with some just really key things to share with folks, that if you keep these things in mind, it can be a good foundation for healthy living. Oop, and sorry for the noise in the background with the siren. Apparently, somebody having an emergency. Hopefully, it's going to be. So, so the key things around and this fact sheet, as well as another fact sheet, some other healthy information, will all be made available in the materials that you all can be able to access when we send out the materials early next week. So things we wanted to highlight around healthy eating and nutrition is, first of all, the idea of staying hydrated. Water is really important. I've I'm trying to carry around this big giant water bottle with me and drink water more regularly. As well as drinking juice or teas, maybe not so much soda, but it's all a process. Yeah, drinking water is a way to stay healthy, keeps you hydrated, keeps everything working well in your body, as well as healthy eating. When we think about healthy eating and dieting, there's a lot of information around dieting, around losing weight, and some of it's maybe not the best messaging. It is, it's important that we all respect each other's choices, and that our bodies are all comes in different sizes and shapes. And if you're happy with how you are and you're healthy, then good for you, and no one has any business judging you for it. But some important things to keep in mind around healthy eating, around nutrition, is in terms of portion size. When I see a big bowl of ice cream or a big bowl of spaghetti, one of my favorite foods, it's really tempting to overeat. But eating too much of anything may not be the most healthy thing. Just kind of thinking about not too small and not too big, but kind of just the right size, medium size, healthy proportion. Having a good healthy meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, snacks in between. And you decide what kind of what healthy food you want, and the importance of, as you think about the food that you eat, that you think about, include a mix of the different food groups, whether that's meats and proteins, vegetables, fruits, and your dairy if you're not lactose intolerant, and the other types of healthy kind of nutrition information that's out there. And just keep in mind of, in good proportions and variety. Okay. So, one of the things about healthy eating is, and that Jenny alluded to, is in terms of shopping and groceries, is that sometimes the cost of healthy foods sometimes is more, and that's something that individually we work on advocating on our local level. But if you're able to, one of the during the summer months, a resource that could be really good to get really healthy food and fresh food is your local farmers market. And one of the things that we started to do over the recent months in the Alliance is hold healthy living chit chats, kind of like monthly webinars around health issues. And back in June, we had a session talking about farmers markets. One of my colleagues and friends and self-advocate leaders, Jesus Chewy Campesano, who's done a lot of who's just a really big fan of farmers markets, came on and talked about how farmers markets are a really great place for fruits and vegetables, and even some meats and proteins, and a variety of other really healthy foods. And he also shared this really resource. Farmers markets can be available all across the state. So if you're curious to find out if there's a farmers market in your community, you can go to this website, which is the Department of Agriculture, plug in your zip code or town, and see if there's a farmers market in your community. You can also just ask around. Again, you can contact your city hall or your township, or just ask around maybe your neighborhood, or look in the paper and see if there's advertisements of a farmer's market in your community. What's nice about farmers markets is that, again, it's fresh food, fresh fruits, and fresh produce and fresh product, but it's also a way to support your local community farmer because the vast majority of the items that are available at farmers markets are local community grown. Okay. Patty, what are your thoughts about like farmers markets and healthy eating?
Good question, Jay. I enjoy going to the farmers market on Saturday mornings, and last Saturday farmers market some zucchini for $2,
Mm,
and I like to eat that in the summertime.
yeah, yeah, like fresh zucchini and fresh summer vegetables are really good, and that brings up another another question that I wanted to get from folks is, you know, during when we talk about healthy eating and healthy foods, sometimes there's like seasonal favorites, and since we're in the midst of summer, what are some really what type of summer snacks or summer foods do you all like to eat? Um, to stay healthy and stay refreshed.
All right. So this
Yeah,
is Christine, and go ahead and type in using the chat box. I do want to let you know that Jenny said link at the market new to using link at the Illinois Products Farmers Market. We're here to help. So if you check that out, we'll match up to $25. If you spend $25 in link, we'll give you an additional 25 in link match to spend on fruits and vegetables.
oh, great.
Yeah, so we know that a lot of farmers markets are available to take your SNAP dollars. Jenny likes pineapple.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
wonderful. Oh my goodness. Here they're rolling in. Jessica loves watermelon. Catherine loves fresh corn. Tara likes grilled peaches.
Ooh,
Never had that before.
no, that's new.
Mary, I'm with you. I like salad. And Carmen, ice cream. There's just nothing better than some cold ice cream on a warm day. Brian eats yogurt, and Donald likes apples. All right. From Garden Center, we have mangoes and cucumbers, squash and watermelon. Oh my. Jermaine likes granola bars. Futures Unlimited, we have watermelon, bananas, cantaloupe, and sweet corn.
Oh,
Michelle likes watermelon. And we still enjoy Carmen's ice cream comment. Pineapple. We have greens and pineapple, watermelon, Granny Smith apples, tomatoes from the farmers markets, asparagus and green apples. Oh my gosh, you all know about some healthy eating, apples and peanut butter and strawberries. Plankton, says Talisha.
oh,
Okay,
that's new.
yeah. The only thing I know about plankton is from SpongeBob SquarePants. So I'm going to have to check that out. Mangoes and pineapple and apples. So thank you all.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's just, again, it's just really the variety of fruits and vegetables and sweets. It's all a nice balance of really fun, fresh summer snacks. Patty, what kind of summer snacks and foods do you like to enjoy in these summer heat?
Oh, I like strawberries, blueberries, peaches, nectarines. I like to eat granola bars. Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
fantastic.
And I like to eat cantaloupe, of course.
Fantastic. And what kinds of, me too, a lot of things that people have shared so far, the cantaloupe, I love watermelon. When I was visiting my mom a couple of weeks ago, we just went through, I think, 2 or 3 watermelons. It was so delicious. And yeah, strawberries and grapes are all fun.
Yeah.
Do people like Patty, do you like, in terms of like summertime healthy drinks like smoothies or teas, do you enjoy any of those?
I like to drink lemonade a lot in the summertime,
Mm,
especially in the sugar-free versions.
yeah, lemon time. Oh, I love lemonade.
Me too.
And and I think thinking back to one of our earlier healthy living chit chats a few months ago, people shared when we talked about healthy snacks and summertime drinks. People also shared, yeah, different types of fruit smoothies, like strawberry banana smoothies. Some people even shared ideas of making vegetable smoothies,
Ooh.
which is I think of sweet smoothies with berries and ice cream and peaches and things like that. But yeah, you can also make smoothies with vegetables, whether that's asparagus, or greens, and other vegetables too. So it's all sounds just delicious. A lot of new things to think about and to try out as we move through the rest of the summer. So great. Thank you, everybody. So we've talked a lot about, we've talked a little bit about healthy eating and healthy drinking. The other part of staying healthy and well is exercise and movement. And when I first, heard messages and people talking about the importance of exercise, in my head, I pictured, oh, does that mean I have to join a gym or run for like 5, 10 miles and lift these gigantic weights? I don't want to do that. So I really didn't get into exercise. But the reality is, exercise is as much movement and physical moving around and an activity that's right for you or that you choose to do. Um, so, the idea of just moving around, moving your body, taking whether it's small movements or big movements, moving your legs, your arms, your feet, moving your body in ways of just increasing circulation can help keep your body and your muscles fit and healthy.
Mhm.
And Patty, it was, can exercise and physical movement help your mood?
It sure can.
Yeah. And it's like, so, and for me, it's like in COVID, one of the biggest concerns or things that I wonder is like, I like to, I like to go outside for a walk. During COVID, when it first started, everyone's saying you got to stay indoors. I was wondering, I was like, how can I stay healthy or be active indoors? And then again, through some conversations and through another one of our healthy living webinars, I found out about simple activities and exercises that we could all do indoor. We'll go over in a little bit. But yeah, exercise doesn't have to be a big intimidating thing like it was for me when I first thought about it. And now that again, we're able to go out more, some simple things that we can do is go out and walk. We can walk around the block. If there's a park nearby, you can go outside in your front yard if you have one, or your backyard, and just go for a little walk or a little jog and move your arms back and forth, walk a little bit faster, walk a little bit slower. If you, if you use a cane or a walker, or, again, whatever movement you're able to do, do a little, just move your body in a way, whatever works for you to help, circulate your blood, move around, and whatever movement and exercise you're able to do, whether it's a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour, however long you choose for yourself, it can help make you feel better. Okay. So as I mentioned, one of the things that as I said, we've been having our healthy living chit chats on a monthly basis. And in May, we had a session on movement and exercise. And one of our guest speaker was Ryan McGraw, a certified yoga instructor who is also a self-advocate. And I want to play a little clip of, as part of the session, he did like a live demo and led all of us who attended through a couple of yoga poses. And I want to share this with you because, again, for me, when I first heard of yoga, I thought it was this big elaborate thing where you had to work, move your body in weird positions. And I wasn't quite into that. And then when listening to Ryan, he talked about chair yoga and simple yoga positions that didn't seem all that scary to me. So, and it helped me rethink, oh, yoga doesn't have to be all that intimidating, or it's not as intense as I might have thought. So this is a couple of minutes, and if you're interested and you're able, you're able to go along. And this is all done from a seated position. When he went for his demo.
So for our first pose, let's drop our chin to our chest and bring your right ear over to your right shoulder. Relax your shoulders down. Your left side of the neck is long here. And then bring the chin back to center. And bring the left ear over to the left shoulder. Just breathing here. Nice, long, steady breath. Inhale. Exhale. And then bring your chin back to your chest. And look up. And bring your hands down beside you, and let's do some shoulder work. So shoulders work. Bring your shoulders up to the ears and drop them. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down, and really try to bring them up as far as possible, as far as you can get them. As I said before, yoga is an individual thing, so don't look how everyone else is doing a pose. This is your practice. So let's do some shoulder circles. Bring your shoulders out, up, back, and down. Out, front, up, back, and down. Front, up, back, and down. Front, up, back, down, front, up, back, and down.
Okay. So, did some folks try to follow along? Like I tried to. It was actually pretty fun. And Patty, what did you think about the yoga and the activity?
Good question. I would like to be able to sign up for a yoga class because I would like to relearn to do yoga since I have not done that for a very long time.
Yeah, I thought about it too after talking with Brian some more, and we'll get to this slide in a little bit. But I wanted to hear, yeah, from folks, what your thoughts about the little yoga activity and your experience with it. So, what are folks saying in the chat, please?
All right, let's see what folks are saying. Mary said she did the sit-ups and the shoulder rolls. Folks at KCCDD said it felt good. We have someone who says that they like to take walks. I think they're sharing their
Nice.
all about me or getting to know me. That's on the screen. The exercise they enjoy. Catherine said it was very relaxing.
Yeah, great. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, that's, when we've talked about wellness and we talk about exercise, one of the side benefits is, yeah, after you do a little exercise, and if you're into yoga, even the introductory or these little like simple, in my words, simple activities of yoga, moving your shoulders, it is relaxing. And that was a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought it'd be a lot of work, but no, it is relaxing, and getting used to breathing in and out really helps relax and settle my mind when I've done it. And and thank you all for sharing how it's how some of the insight that you've had with it, and that it's can be a positive. So and oh, if you are interested in seeing the full hour-long webinar, and you'll get this link in the handouts when you get the link to all the materials next week, is that you can see the whole recording of Ryan's presentation where he does talk about movement, a little bit more introduction about yoga, and then the full about 20-minute demonstration that you can follow along in this piece. So great. So let's talk about and go to your handout, our All About Me handout, and you can speak up and speak out. Share, what is an exercise that you enjoy? And Patty, what are some exercises that you enjoy?
In the summertime, I enjoy swimming and water walking.
Oh, what's water walking?
Oh, it's kind of like walking on land, only you're in the pool and you're walking laps back and forth. And you get a good workout that way, and it's very beneficial and it's very relaxing.
Oh, so are you like in like a shallow pool in the water? Or
I'm usually in the shallow part for water walking, but for swimming, it doesn't matter. It's like some of the time I'm in the shallow part and some of the time I'm in the deep part of the pool.
Oh, neat. Yeah, water walking is a new thing. I've never heard about that. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so I know someone had mentioned that they earlier on that they enjoy walking as an exercise. Are there other
There
other
are.
comments?
Yes, there are. Felix enjoys doing sit-ups. Donald enjoys walking around the block. We have some more folks who enjoy swimming, so more alike than different. Jeannie likes sitter-size. I'm thinking that might be exercise from a sitting position. I like that. Jermaine also likes swimming. Michelle likes dancing. Joyce enjoys walking, and so does Iris. Becca enjoys being outside. Yes, that is a treat for the body, the mind, and the spirit. Catherine enjoys walking, strength training. Talisha does crunches. Ooh, got to get that six pack going. Yeah. Brian rides a bike. Noelle enjoys stretching. Oh, we have some folks who like jumping jacks. Have some more folks that like to bike, more walkers. Sean likes to walk. Nicole likes to dance. We've got hiking. Alex likes to exercise to music.
Ooh.
Wow. Then we also have walking, biking, basketball. Yes.
Yeah, those are just so awesome ideas. Thank you all for sharing those. I love it. All, yeah, just all, again, just variety and difference and the fun of it all of getting out. And you can, and a lot of those things we can do both indoors, outdoors, with by ourselves or with a small group of friends or in a large group of friends, whether it's walking, dancing, different running, jumping rope, all those things, swimming. It's really great to hear, and all the different types of activities that we all can do and get out and just stay active and
Yes.
keep our minds and bodies all healthy and thank you, everybody.
Sure. And Jen, I just want to mention a couple others. Jenny likes to go to curves. Trevor enjoys weightlifting. And from Ada S. McKinley, they enjoy biking, walking, swimming, Zumba, weightlifting. And again, the walking, swimming, doing exercises with your Wii, and then water walking. So thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. All right. So as we mentioned, and this is a great segue into or connection into just talking and summarizing about the importance of mental health. And Patty, why I know mental health and stress reduction is important to you. So why is it important that we talk about mental health and stress reduction? Patty, are you muted?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, can you talk a little bit about why it's important to talk about mental health and stress reduction, please?
Well, if you get really stressed out and then your mind races and goes really fast, and a lot of muscles, including vocal muscles, they tend to tighten up really bad. And if you don't control your stress level, then your blood pressure can go up, and possibly your glucose level or your blood sugar, in other words.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And here's another thing too. It's a lot healthier to relieve stress because optimists are healthier than pessimists, because optimists are a lot healthier than pessimists, and they live a lot longer too.
Yeah, no, thank you, Patty, and for sharing that. And yeah, when we're under stress, I think it's important to, as Patty shared, when we're stressed out and anxious, that has an effect on our body. As Patty shared, our blood pressure goes up, we get muscles, and it just doesn't feel quite right. If you find ways of reducing stress,
that's right.
Yeah, you feel better, and your body can be better too.
Yeah, and if you get overly stressed out, your immune system can be suppressed, and then you're more likely to get sick.
Yeah, there have been some reports of that too. So, yes, it's we all get stressed out, or we all get anxious, but keeping in mind ways of taking care of our mental health, reducing stress is important. And a lot of what we talked about, those exercises that we just talked about, getting into yoga and breathing, are all ways of taking care of our bodies, but at the same time helping to reduce stress too. And there's also in your handouts, you'll also get some information about stress reduction. But a couple of things we wanted to highlight is doing stretching. You know, you're able to stretch your arms, your body in different ways can help reduce stress, as well as sitting in different positions can also help reduce stress in your muscles as well as your mind, as well as, you know, what we talked about through Ryan's presentation about the yoga and about breathing. And speaking of stress reduction, one of the other things is, before we get to that, is just to highlight other, you know, in terms of speaking out and speaking up and speaking out, and looking back again at your sheet, is share a little bit of ideas about what activity you like and you enjoy doing. I don't exercise. What type of activity do you find fun? Like for me, I like to watch TV as one of my fun activities.
All right, so this is Christine. If you want to go ahead and type into the chat box your answers for activities you enjoy. Mary says deep breathing and listening to music. Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else want to share? Oh, I heard someone saying going to a concert.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. All right. Mary likes to jump rope. We have other people going to the zoo and bowling, reading, crossword puzzles, making jewelry, music, playing Wii, bowling, coloring, and scrapbooking, watching movies, listening to music on your phone, shopping. We have some more music, dancing, cross stitch. Going back to karaoke night when COVID-19 cases go down. And we have some more music. Yes. Oh my goodness. Thank you for all those ideas. Video games, working on trains, photographer, Xbox. Oh my goodness.
Oh, these are.
Yes, I have lots of ideas now. Thank you.
These are great ideas, are really fun activities. And thank you all for sharing. You've given me a lot of ideas and some new ideas for me to try out, to add to my fun activities list that we try in the days and the weeks to come. And yeah, these are all fun ways of, you know, by doing all these fun things, these hobbies or interests, of range from the photography to the music, to the dancing, to going out to concerts, to the zoo, all fun ways. And if you're having fun, it also helps reduce stress. So it's I know, reducing stress. Reducing stress doesn't have to be a complicated thing. It can be simple things just by enjoying the activities that we do enjoy. So along the same lines, we want to spend some time talking about, you know, another idea that can be helpful to help reduce stress and also keep us focused on tasks and things. It's the idea of mindfulness. And just as Christine's checking, is Jessica right? Is Jessica here?
Yes, we are excited to welcome Jessica Hinman. So Jessica, take it away.
Sure. All right. Awesome. Well, hi, everybody. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It's almost Friday. Woohoo! Almost there. First off, thanks everyone for inviting me and allowing me to be here with you guys. It sounds like you're learning some really cool stuff, from eating to mindfulness, stress reduction. Man, this is good stuff. I'm happy to be here. So like Jin said, I'm going to be talking to you all a little bit about mindfulness this morning. And I know a few people in the chat, when we were kind of just chatting about stress reduction, a few people said, taking some deep breaths, slowing down, kind of getting through it. And that's sort of what we're going to talk about this morning. So let's go ahead and get into it. So next slide, please. Perfect. So before we jump all the way into mindfulness, I want us to just start by taking a mindful moment. And if you've done deep breathing before, perfect. If not, that's okay. So when we talk about doing mindful breathing, what that looks like is we're going to take a big deep breath in through our nose like this. Should almost be so deep that you can hear it. And then once you fill up your big lungs and your chest gets really big and tall, you're going to release that breath through your mouth. And just kind of let it out. So how about everyone take about 3 big deep breaths all together now. So we'll go ahead and start with 1. And the second one. And 1 more. Good job. And now I'm going to have everybody keep doing that deep breathing for themselves for the next 30 seconds. So for the next 30 seconds, just keep taking those deep breaths and really staying mindful. So go ahead and begin now. All right, great job. Okay, so come on back. If you closed your eyes or maybe zoned out a little, that's okay. And we'll go ahead and kind of get into things. So we'll go to our next slide. Perfect. So how did you do during that time? Were you like this little character on the left side of the screen? Was your mind really busy? Were you thinking about all the things that you have to do today? Maybe the fun things you did yesterday? Did you notice that your mind was kind of wandering or moving really fast? What were you thinking about during that time? I see some yeses, so maybe we had some minds wandering. Yeah, me too. It happens. Yeah, okay. So I'm glad I'm not the only one whose mind wandered during that time. Okay, and someone's calm. Good, good. All right, so it sounds like we had some busy minds during that time. So was anyone able to stay really mindful and just really focus on their breathing during that time? Oh no, I see some no's. Oh, some no's. Okay, my mind wandered. All right. Okay. And that's okay. That's kind of how our brain is wired to work. As humans, yeah, sometimes we need more practice at this skill, right? Even right now, you might be doing 3 or 4 different things all at the same time. You might be listening to me, looking at the screen, hearing the TV in the background. Who knows? You might be doing a lot of things all at the same time. Our brains, they're not used to doing one single thing at a time. We're used to doing 5,000 things at the same time, multitasking. So sometimes, like what Christine says, sometimes we just need to practice doing just one thing at a time. And it's really, really tricky. So that's why we practice this mindfulness skill. It's really about slowing down, kind of taking those breaths, and really just focusing on one thing at a time. Because when our mind starts to wander, when we start to think about our to-do list or what we did yesterday, or maybe all the work tasks that we have left to do today or what we're going to do when we get home, sometimes it gets really hard to focus on what we're doing right now, right? When our mind wanders, sometimes we're a little less productive in the here and now. And like I said, that's okay. That's totally normal. All of our brains wander, but sometimes we just need to practice bringing it back when it wanders way too far off, which can happen from time to time. So that's what we'll talk a little bit more about now. So next slide, please. Perfect. So has anyone heard of mindfulness before? Yes, no, maybe. Okay, some yeses. You see some no's. Some no's. Okay, cool. All right, some mixed bag, and that's all right. Some yeses, some nos. I love to see it. Some more yeses. Yeah. So mindfulness is kind of a hot topic right now. Maybe you've seen it on TV or at the store. Sometimes there's magazines that are all about mindfulness. You hear it from time to time, but maybe you don't know quite what it is. Maybe you think yoga or meditating or who knows what mindfulness is. And mindfulness can look very different. Kind of like what Jay-Jin was talking about earlier with exercise, there's lots of different ways to practice mindfulness, and you can really find a way that mindfulness works for you. So when we talk about mindfulness, it's really just becoming aware of and observing what's going on around us and within us in the present moment without judging it. Sometimes we have thoughts or feelings or experiences that we are kind of quick to judge from time to time. We might think, oh, I didn't like that, or oh, that's not a good thing to think about, or oh, I love to have this thought. Sometimes mindfulness is just about letting it be and just noticing that it's there. And I think, as somebody even said in the chat, mindfulness helps reduce stress, which I know that I need that a lot. I got a lot of stress, especially with everything going on right now. Oof, man, I need it for sure. So it reduces that stress. It improves our overall well-being. I know somebody said, I think Patty said that, happy people, are happier and they do better and they kind of can be more productive. And that's definitely true. It also helps us, focus on what we need to focus on. Sometimes it helps us improve our interactions with others. We don't always like to interact with other people when we're not feeling our best. So when we can really slow down, sometimes we can enjoy our friends, our family, and those around us a little bit more because we're in a better headspace, and that's a great place to be. We get to really be more focused on the things that we enjoy, and maybe it improves our concentration. Like I said, I'm usually thinking about 20,000 different things all at the same time, and I can't focus on one thing. So when I practice mindfulness, it really helps me focus on the things that I need to do, for sure. And yeah, like Mary said, sometimes we have situations that are really, really hard and heavy to get through. And sometimes we got to slow them down a little bit, really focus on the friends or family members that we really care about, really focus on our values and kind of move towards those things. When we can slow down and really focus on what we're doing right here, right now, we're able to focus on the things that are really important to us. And that's a really big piece of mindfulness too, is doing those things that we care about with the people that we care about. And I think, that's a pretty important thing in my eyes. So that's a little bit about mindfulness. And now we'll talk a little bit more about how to do mindfulness. So next slide, please. Perfect. So there's, like I said, many, many, many different ways of doing mindfulness. If you've heard of mindfulness, maybe you instantly think of meditation. Maybe you think, I just have to sit still and do nothing and not think about anything. Well, that's not how my brain works, I'll tell you that. I've never had a moment where I don't have any thoughts going on. Sometimes wish I did, but that's not quite how our brains work sometimes. It's really hard to just sit and do nothing. That's when our brains get really, really busy, as many of you maybe just noticed when we took that mindful moment, and that's okay. So, maybe meditation doesn't work for you. There's also ways of being mindful that really engages our senses and being active. So, engaging our scent, our sight, our feel, all those different things, really interacting with our physical environment helps us get really in touch with that environment. And we can also, which I think this is probably my favorite one, is we can mindfully perform our daily tasks. Oftentimes, I know for me, it's in the mornings. I wake up, I'm trying to brush my teeth, wash my face, get dressed, get ready, get out the door, forgetting my lunch, leaving my keys, who knows where, going too fast. And, sometimes you think, man, I don't have any time to do mindfulness in the morning. I have like zero time to even eat breakfast and I'm forgetting everything. So sometimes, we can actually perform things that we already do on a day-to-day basis a little bit more mindfully. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So we'll kind of go through these 3 different ways of being mindful, and I'll give you some suggestions of how to do them. We'll walk through a couple of them. And then I think when you get those handouts, you might have some further instructions of how to do some of these things so that you can do them at home on your own. So we'll get into those. So next slide, please.
Thank you.
Right. So for this first activity that we're going to try out, this is a meditative activity. So it really focuses on kind of just reflecting and thinking. So I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to kind of give you some things to think about or some things to, imagine in your mind, and just kind of follow along and notice where your mind goes. And again, mindfulness is a practice. It's not something you master. I do it a lot, and I'm still distracted half of the time. So it's something that we work towards. So if you notice that you're becoming frustrated or your mind's wandering, that's totally okay. Sometimes that happens from time to time, and just notice that it's happening. And again, try not to judge it. It's not good, it's not bad. Your mind just kind of wanders. So what I'd like everyone to do, if they're comfortable, go ahead and kind of close your eyes. And if you don't want to close your eyes, you just kind of gaze off out in front of you. Just look at something kind of set out on the table. And go ahead and take one of those big deep breaths that we practiced. And now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to picture yourself sitting next to a stream, a little river, with water gently and slowly flowing down that river. Try and imagine the sounds that that river makes as the water splashes between the rocks and goes back and forth. Continuing to take those big, deep breaths. And on that river, you notice that there's a leaf. There's a small leaf flowing down the river. And maybe it's an orange, yellow leaf, just going back and forth between those rocks. Then you notice it float right on by, out of sight. And then another leaf comes down that stream, and another. And you notice that as they appear, they start to gently flow back out of sight. And what I want you to try and do is I want you to try and imagine putting a thought onto those leaves. So those thoughts that you sometimes have that maybe get stuck, get in the way, distract you, see if you can imagine putting those thoughts on those leaves and just letting them float by. Sometimes they might seem like they sit in that river right in front of you a little longer, and some might just drift right through. And maybe you notice that from time to time, those thoughts kind of get stuck on a rock and just really sit there for a while until they work themselves free. But rather than reaching into that river and trying to make that thought or that leaf move faster, you just kind of let it work itself out, and it eventually does. And those leaves just keep flowing right on by without any judgment or trying to change them. So go ahead and take one more big deep breath. Then go ahead and open your eyes if you had them closed, or come back to us. All right, what did everyone think? How was that experience for you? You can say good, bad, into it, not into it. I see some clapping, some awesomes, okay. Some yeses, okay. Some awesomes, I gotta know, that's okay. Cool, all right. Some yeses, hopefully nobody fell asleep. Sometimes I get a little sleepy when I do those things, so as long as no one fell asleep, I consider it a win. All right, I got some goods. Cool. So that's an example of a meditative mindfulness activity that really kind of just involves picturing, doing some visualization, kind of just slowing down. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky if our minds feel really flustered or kind of all over the place. But if you liked this activity, there are lots of activities on YouTube or different apps that will walk you through some of these mindfulness activities. I know I like to listen to them at the end of the day if I had a really overwhelming day and just kind of need to slow down. So maybe you can find some of those online as well. So that's one example, and we'll go ahead and go to the next one. Perfect. So I like this one. This one's really fun for me, and maybe it'll be fun for you as well. And this one involves really becoming, focused on everything that's around you. So it looks like people are at work or at home, maybe in their office, places that they've been a lot of times. Maybe you've spent a lot of time here before. And what I'm going to challenge you to do today is to start to notice some things that maybe you've not noticed before in this space. And you might think, I've been here every day for the last 5 years. I know every little piece of this room. I know everything going on around me. And I'm going to see if you can notice anything new or different about this space. So what I'd like you to do is first I want you to try and notice 5 things around you that you can see that are different or that you've never noticed before. So this can be things like the color of the paint, a crack in the wall, maybe a scuff on the floor. Maybe you can see that the window looks a little bit different than you remembered it to look. See if you can notice 5 things about your room, about your space that you've never noticed before. I'm noticing that there's a cobweb up there that I need to dust out. There's some dust on the corners. I think I might just need to do some dusting. All right. So hopefully you noticed 5 things that you could see. Now try and notice 4 things that you can hear. So maybe you can hear the air conditioner, or the buzzing of the electricity, or the birds outside maybe, or your friends next to you or in the other room talking. Maybe all sorts of things you can maybe hear. You can hear my voice, that's one. Give that one to you. Perfect. All right. Next one is I want you to notice 3 things that you can feel. And this can be 3 things that you feel inside. Maybe you feel a little hungry or a little tired, or it can be things that you physically feel. Maybe you can feel your shirt resting on your sleeve or your watch sitting on your wrist. Try and notice 3 things that you can feel right now. Also, maybe be the fan hitting your face, that air hitting your face. So 3 things you can feel. All right, the next one, and here it starts to get a little tricky. I want you to try and notice 2 things that you can smell. Really focus on this one. You might think, I can't smell much. Maybe you can smell your pets if they're around. Maybe you can smell lunch starting to get cooked. Or your deodorant or perfume maybe. Maybe you can notice 2 things that you can smell. And after you finish with that one, and this one I think is sometimes the trickiest, one thing that you can taste. And maybe you don't have anything in your mouth right now, but see if you can notice any tastes of something that you ate recently. Or if you have water in front of you, maybe take a sip of water or coffee or tea or juice and just really kind of taste that thing. Kind of notice that. All right, so that's all 5. What did everyone think of that activity? Much, much different than the first one. Christine's throwing a party over there. That's a good one. All right, good stuff. Cool, good to hear it. Glad to hear it. All right, so this is just another mindfulness activity where we really become aware of where our body is within space and like physically become connected to what we're doing and where we are. And I find that this activity is really helpful when we do become very overwhelmed, especially if we're at work, at school, in the community, and we might feel really anxious or overstimulated. Sometimes we just need to take a moment like, okay, what are some things I can hear? What are some things I can feel? What can I taste? What can I smell? Right? When we become really overwhelmed and overstimulated and feel that we're being pulled in 20 different directions, it's nice to just notice those sensory feelings and just bring ourselves back in. So this one's one of my favorites. All right, next slide, please. And then, like I said, I think you'll receive some of the instructions for these so that you can do them at home, but you can also do mindfulness daily. So within your regular activities, has anyone ever gone for a mindful walk before, maybe? See Patty saying yes. Well, I see some yeses. Awesome. I love mindful walks. And hey, you're hitting the exercise and the mindfulness piece in one. So it's a 2-for-1. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So some no's on the mindful walking. So, you can go for a mindful walk around your house, in your yard, out in the community, wherever. You can do it as you walk, go into your car in the morning. You can do a nature walk, which is one of my favorites. And just really as you walk, or go along, try and notice all the different, sights and smells and sounds that you hear. Yeah, I love going for walks in the woods as well. It's a really great time to do it. Yeah. Mindful eating or drinking. This is one of my favorites. Hands down, one of my favorite activities. What it consists of is just slowing down when we eat. Oftentimes, especially since I've been working from home, I'm just sitting at my desk eating, not paying attention. But sometimes, when we eat, we can slow it down a little bit, try and chew your food like 15 times. And, the average number of times that we usually chew our food when we're eating is like 3 or 5. See if you can chew your bite of food 10 times, 15 times, and really feel it, in your mouth and kind of notice those tastes. You can also take 10 breaths, kind of like we did at the beginning. Just taking a moment, between your work tasks or between things, just taking that moment to take some breaths. If you know that you're going to do something that's maybe a little stressful or anxiety provoking, just taking that time to take those breaths. You can also do mindfulness in your morning routine, brushing your teeth, washing your hands, try and notice the taste of the toothpaste or the sense of the soap in your hands. Yeah, you can mindfully eat a raisin, which is really fun. Trying to see if you can slowly nibble a raisin. It's really hard. You just want to eat the raisin sometimes, but that's a really cool one for sure. So yeah, you can do it in your morning routine when you're eating breakfast, maybe. You can do it during chores. I mean, my least favorite chore is doing the dishes and doing the laundry. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but I do not enjoy doing those two things. And I usually just get grumpy about it. So I try and, take that time to be mindful. So when I'm folding clothes, I try and notice if I can smell the fabric softener or the detergent in the clothing and really feel the clothing as I fold it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, that's okay. But, kind of integrating mindfulness into those things that you do every day. And you can also do mindfulness during pleasant activities that you really love. So whether it's playing video games, playing with your pets, hanging out with your friends, really just challenging yourself to be mindful during those activities. When we're talking to our friends or our families or our loved ones, making sure that we're really focusing on what they say and that we're hearing what they're talking about, kind of slowing it down and really enjoying that time. How often do we go places or talk to people or, interact in situations and we're thinking about something completely different and we really miss out on that moment. So, when we can really, really, really enjoy and be in the present during our favorite things, sometimes we can enjoy them a little bit more, which is pretty cool. And we can start to notice things that maybe we missed out on the first time. So there's some examples of how you can do mindfulness in your daily life right there. So next slide, please. Perfect. So I know that was a a lot of mindfulness in a very short amount of time. But if you have any questions, I will plug in my email into the chat. So if you have any questions or want any more information on mindfulness, you can definitely reach out to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions or any other things that you have for me. So thanks again for letting me come and drop in. It was awesome to be with you all this morning.
Thank you, Jessica. That was really, really great. And yeah, there's a lot of great information, and it felt really nice to just kind of have that time to think internally for ourselves and really pay attention to our bodies and our thoughts. And as Jessica said, we'll have all this information in the handouts for next time. So as you take a breath, we'll move into our break. We'll have about 15 minutes. So back right around 11:15.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. And I just want to say that Dante and the folks at Ada S. McKinley said, we're back. Love that. And I hope you enjoyed that musical interlude. A little bit different from what we've had over the last couple of days. Day 1 and 2 were really jazzy. Yesterday it was the emoji 15-minute break with some music, and today we kind of took it down a little bit with some meditative music.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you, Christine. And I think, Christine, you're the genius behind these musical interludes, correct?
Well, I don't know if I'm the genius. I think YouTube is the genius. I just Googled them.
you're the ones who found them. So thank you to you for finding all these really great YouTube videos to help pass the time with our breaks.
Yes, thank you.
All righty. So welcome back, everybody. And we're going to dive right back into our next sections where we'll talk about an overview of our relationship and sexuality wellness. So, to begin with, I'm going to start going through some questions. Again, a chance for you to use your yes and no cards or awesome cards to respond to 2 questions on what makes a healthy or good relationship. So, Patty?
Communication is part of a healthy relationship.
You can hold up your yeses and nos, and what do we got?
I'm seeing a lot of green yeses. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes, yep. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Ada S. McKinley, I'm checking out your yeses. Derek says yes, yes.
Fantastic. How about this one, Patty?
Trust is part of a healthy relationship.
Yes, and not only do we have folks showing their yes cards, they are speaking up and speaking out by chiming in using the chat box saying yes.
Fantastic. All right. How about this one?
Being made to do things you don't want to do is part of a healthy relationship.
What are people saying to that?
Let's see. People are saying no. We have people who are chiming in the chat box or speaking up that way saying no. We have people who are sharing their rally cards saying no.
Right. Yeah. And we'll talk about why that may be not the best thing in a little bit. But yeah, thanks. Lastly.
Consent is part of a healthy relationship. What does everybody think so far?
Oh, Patty, thank you for asking. I am seeing a lot of yeses and awesomes. Yes, consent is awesome.
Yes, indeed. Consent is really important to make a healthy relationship. So great. So thank you, everybody. I want to
sex ed for people.
Sorry. So just to save a little bit of time, To let you know, this is a video that was put out by the self-advocates of the National Council on Independent Living. This is just one of 10 short videos that addresses issues of sex ed and relationships. And you'll get a link to this video as well as the whole playlist. But I'm gonna, just to save a little bit of time, we're going to move on to the next piece. So, we talk about what healthy relationships is. So Patty, could you just go over the items on the list of what makes a healthy relationship?
Signs of a healthy or good relationship: fun and enjoyable, communication, ooh, that's an important thing, show respect, ooh, that's another big one, build trust, cooperate, feeling safe, being yourself, feeling happy.
Yeah. I mean, these and this is just some of the things that make up a good or healthy relationship. And as you all said, when we talk about those questions, it is important to have good communication, to build trust. And if you have good relationships, you work together, you feel safe, you feel comfortable, and you have lots of fun. Healthy and good relationships, you feel happy. You enjoy each other's company. Yes, you may have some disagreements along the way. Generally speaking, positive, healthy, enjoyable experience. And that's really important to remember. So that's what makes a good relationship. Let's highlight a little bit about what makes an unhealthy or bad relationship.
Signs of an unhealthy or bad relationship: disrespect, bullying or controlling, does not respect choices, no communication at all, feeling unsafe, can't be yourself, feeling stressed or unhappy, not fun or enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. So, we talk about health relationships, and I think it's also important a little bit about the signs that you may experience if so, if you're in a relationship and you're feeling unsafe, if you feel like you really can't be yourself, if the person you're in a relationship with keeps on making you do things or telling you what to do or how to do things, and kind of is controlling those kinds of controlling messages, you're just not having fun anymore, then those are important signs to pay attention to and maybe think about. If you're really not happy, is this relationship really worth continuing? And kind of think about that. And especially if you're feeling unsafe, if the person is bullying you or becoming abusive, and really think about connecting with support, friends and family that you trust to find a way to safely get out. Okay. So yeah, but remember, the healthy relationships are all about fun, good communications, and feeling safe and feeling like your ideas are all respected. Okay. So, and again, we'll have more information in the handouts when you get them. But we talked about last couple of days. We talked about some legislation and advocacy through that self-advocates made to really acknowledge and give voice to our sexuality and relationship rights. And I just want to play a little clip of this video that was put together by self-advocates, first out of St. Louis Obispo years ago, all about their statement of sexuality rights.
Every person has a right to affirmation as a sexual being, to exercise choices regarding sexual expressions and loving relationships.
Just because an individual has disabilities, regardless of their severities, does not justify denial of their sexual rights.
People with disabilities having these voting rights regarding sexuality, whether they live in the community or in institutional settings.
people with disabilities have the right to marry people of their choice.
People with disabilities have the right to engage in consensual sex, to engage in activities of sexual expression, do not infringe on the right of others, and to a private place where they can express their sexuality.
People with disabilities have the right to educational information concerning sexuality and contraceptives.
People with disabilities have a right to acquire any assistive technology, medical care, or equipment needed to express their sexuality.
People with disabilities have the right to refuse a sexual or any relationship with another individual. A person with a disability should never be coerced to have sex.
People with disabilities should be free from discrimination, harassment, interference, and retaliation when exercising these rights to sexuality and when exercising the right to refuse to engage in any sexual activities.
People with disabilities have a right to privacy about their sexuality. A person with a disability should never have to discuss their sexuality unless they feel comfortable.
Yeah, the importance of just these Bill of Rights that all of us as people with disabilities and as human beings have the right to explore our sexuality or gender, have the freedom to choose who we date with and how we date, and if we want to have children or not. All of those things are important. And this conversation and this advocacy from our disability community has been happening for years. And I think I just wanted to share, that it's our voices here in Illinois, but it's also self-advocates from other parts of the country who've been doing this work as well. And, because of that work, it led to the success of the passage of the Public Act 101-0506, or the Sex Education Act. And, the help to create all our own statement of sexuality, right? That Tara and Adam reviewed some of yesterday and the day before. And again, you'll get all of this information in handouts. But again, to just kind of, we'll just to save some time, we'll move through those. But again, you will get the links to get all of these and review them on your own. And when you get the recording links, you can also revisit this information as well. So this is just some additional information that's available, that Alliance was part of, as well as other organizations pulled together a wonderful resource as listings for podcasts, YouTube videos, and plain language resources all around questions and topics around sexuality and relationships. The link to download it and review it on your own. So I know it was a quick review, but I think in this conversation around wellness, we got so into the mindfulness and the wellness pieces that we ran a little long. So I apologize for that. But again, I think that's the beauty of having this recorded, as well as having the follow-up information, is that you will be able to review it at your own, in your own time, in your own speed. So we want to spend a little bit about talking about advocating for health. And just as a reminder that even because of the pandemic and outside of that, we as people with disabilities do have rights to access health care. And we have those protections for accommodations and accessibility through the ADA, as well as provisions through the American Accessible Care Act. So there are, generally speaking, there are provisions and protections so that you have access to health and access. Again, you'll see some, this just has some bullet points to, what these accessibility and accommodations provisions mean. So we have access to services, accommodations, we're able to ask questions. But one of the resources that I want to highlight this, what was called a health resume that folks at Ray Graham and in support from ICDD, you'll get this link, you can download this whole resume. It's a wonderful resource and a tool where you can, by yourself or with support from friends or family, or even with your doctor, fill this out where you can put in your name, your contact information about what the best way, or how the best way you communicate, and information about your health situation. If you have chronic health conditions like for me, like if I have seizures, I have medications, you can write them all down here and keep it part of your important documents. So that when you see a new doctor, or if you have to go to a new clinic, have this resume with you and you can share it with the medical professional so you're communicating and advocating to them what your health situation is, what your accommodations are, because if you're sick, you may not be in the best position to communicate. Give them this information, they're in a position to understand, how best to communicate with you, what your accommodations are, what medical you might be taking, and what health conditions. It's a great way of starting that conversation so you get the appropriate care and hospital you need. In addition, is this resource through Epic, which also has some information for you as well as as healthcare providers on ways that you can, again, communicate and advocate with healthcare providers and ideas on how you can communicate what your needs are when interacting with healthcare providers, as well as information for healthcare professionals on something that they can do to make their practice more accessible. Okay. And Christine, is there anything that I'm missing from that overview?
Let's see. The information that you shared in the beginning about the rights, your healthcare rights, that came to us from Epic in Peoria. The second, the healthcare resume, that came to us through Ray Graham. And this healthcare professional's guide to working with patients with developmental disabilities comes to us from Community Choices. So there's lots of great information out there, and we've been able to highlight just 3 bits of information, and you will get this information when the link for the entire rally comes out on Monday.
Yes. So and again, you'll get a lot of additional information for add to your library of resources. So, and again, this is just other aspects of that handout that you could use as a resource. So we want to talk more now, kind of switching back to the idea of wellness. We want to talk about self-care. So Patty, can you share with us, what is self-care?
Self-care is the practice of people looking after their own health using the knowledge and information available to them.
Yeah, and this was pulled, we found this definition and information from the Global Self-Care Federation. So, it's really important. Self-care is important if there's a global federation. And it is all about, as Patty shared and read, the practice of people looking after our own health and knowledge that we have access to. So it's the idea of, for each of us to choose, we need to take care of ourselves, our bodies and our minds, through what we talked about, through the education, through activities like the mindfulness exercises and other ways of just care of ourselves. But let's talk about some simple ideas about what simple things that we all can do throughout our day to be. What are some of these ideas, Patty? Can you share?
Ideas for self-care: eat healthy snacks. Ooh, that's an important one. Get creative. Practice a hobby. Take a nap. Enjoy outdoors. Sometimes it can be hard. Spend time with friends. Read a book for fun. Get rest and listen to music you like.
Yeah. So do any of these things that you just read off, Patty, are things that you like to do?
Yeah, I like to be outdoors when the weather is nice. And I like to listen to WJEZ since it's my favorite radio station. And I sure enjoy reading books for fun. And I like to do word searches. Sometimes I like to draw things and color things in.
Fantastic. Yeah, those are all great ideas of ways of having fun, and all of them are activities around self-care. And I'm curious, we've spent time when we talk about exercises and activities, in terms of asking everyone who's attending, what activities do you like to do for self-care? Anything that's on the list, or anything else that you all do enjoyable that could be for self-care?
Well, I like to walk to the library during hours and be able to go in and drop books off whether it's like during library hours or not.
Yes, thank you for that, Patty.
You're welcome, Christine.
Yes, and here's some other things folks have said. Becca said all those ideas that were read are great ideas for self-care. We have other folks who say go to the beach. Another person spending time with their pets, petting the cats. Yes, we know that when you pet animals, your blood pressure can go down, and that's a good health thing. From Garden Center, go for a walk, listen to music, treat myself to some ice cream, get my nails done. All right. Jenny said, I like to attend autistic support groups on Zoom that I can't go to in person here in Illinois. So those groups are located in Canada, California, and Florida. We have other folks that like music, going to the movies, and Raging Rivers, which is a local water park in the St. Louis Metro East area, going to the mall, doing crafts, calling family members. Wow. From Ada S. McKinley, we have watching TV, spending time with boyfriends and girlfriends, talking on the phone, going shopping at the mall or at a favorite store, spending time with family, napping, singing. We've got making crafts and going to the movies and audiobooks and swimming and music and friends. Oh my, you guys have a lot of ideas for self-care.
I think that's just so awesome. That is really awesome. Thank you all for sharing all of those. It's just and again, it just goes to show just the creativity and the diversity of our wonderful disability community, and that are all part of our alliance network, and friends and self-advocates supporting each other. It's like all those are really amazingly fun ideas. And I do enjoy a lot of those things of walking outside. I really enjoy like watching science fiction movies and reading. And it's funny, it's like even during this week of our rallies, during the breaks, when we've had like Monday and Tuesday, even yesterday when we had a little more upbeat music during the break, I found myself kind of dancing around my room as a way of enjoying that, and it felt really fun to move around and just kind of be silly. So I will say I was happy that I turned my camera off because that would have been embarrassing. It's still fun to move around and dance. So thank you, everybody. So, you know, talking about self-care, this list is one way of helping reminding ourselves of different self-care activities. Another way that might be helpful as that we could all use to kind of put up in a poster in a wall, or just put up pictures to help remind ourselves to take time for self-care, is if pictures work better for you, or it sparks more engagement, then you could use something like this, where it's different pictures of what self-care is about. Reminders of eating healthy snacks, or reminders of glasses of water to help remind us to drink more water throughout the day. A little painting palette sparking creativity, whether that's through drawing or writing or sculpting or whatever your creative method is a reminder to do that. And the importance of getting a lot of rest, whether that's naps throughout the day or making sure you get a good 6 to 8 hours of sleep, restful sleep. That's something that I sometimes struggle with, is getting enough rest. But little reminders like this, it helped me to remind myself to get the rest. Little barbells to indicate the importance of out and doing some activity or exercises, and the idea of staying organized. Sometimes I know if I am organized, it also helps reduce stress and me feel more accomplished. Again, if this helps, using these kinds of images as reminders for you to motivate you to do more self-care activities. And the big question that we want to ask you all is, Patty, if you can.
I practice self-care. What does everybody think on this one?
All right, we have got a lot of use out of our rally cards today, and a lot of use out of our chat box. So in the chat box, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. I'm seeing a lot of green rally cards going up in the air. Yes, we've got a lot of self-care going on out there, and that is awesome.
Yes, I agree. It is. And even if you said no, this can be just a friendly point of encouragement to give yourself permission to take a couple of minutes for self-care. It's all about reminders and encouragement. Take care of ourselves, whether that's for a couple of minutes or longer. It's all up to you. So the last couple of things before we move into our recap is, we talk about self-care, and one of the ideas of being creative, and wanted to highlight something, see if anyone knows who this person on the screen pictured is, and why she's also famous.
All right, so go ahead and use your chat box. Do you know who this person is, and why is she famous? Again, do you know who the person on the screen is, and why is she famous? And if you know it, great. If you don't, that's great too. We're not born knowing everything. We learn each and every day. And for me, this is going to be a learning experience too. All right. And from Garden Center, Frida Kahlo. She is an artist. And Catherine says she's a wonderful artist with disabilities. So, yes.
Yes.
Thank you for teaching me who this is.
Thank you. Yes, exactly right. Her name is Frida Kahlo. She is, and she is a very well-known artist, and she's also a person with a disability. When she became disabled, she was lived in Mexico, and then she became disabled, and she discovered art and painting. And the reason, and this is just some of the examples of her work. And I'm going to also ask Tara, our fearless leader, Tara Ahern, because Tara's also done a lot of work. I'm very familiar with Frida, so if I make any blunders, to please correct my errors. But this is some of the work that Frida has done, and the reason that we want to share this in this conversation around self-care and wellness is, talked about creativity as part of self-care and wellness, and giving ourselves permission to be creative. And whether that's through art, whether that's through drawing or doodling on your own, or just appreciating art like Frida's pieces. And if it gives you joy and happiness and makes you feel good to interact with art, that is a way of taking care of yourself and staying healthy and tending to your wellness goals. I also just want to highlight that Tara also is part of a project where there's been a group working to adapt some of Frida's work to highlight and include imagery. Tara, do you want to share a little bit about where that exhibit is for people who are interested in learning more about it?
Sure, thanks, Jason. So I'm a part of the Trace Freitas project, which is a collaboration between myself and 2 other disabled artists. So we take famous works of art in pop culture and history and recreate them, really promoting disabled artists from the Chicago area and infusing our own experiences with art and disability. I know for myself, Frida is such a huge inspiration as someone that's disabled, living with chronic health issues. That can be really frustrating. And I know I've shared that with some of you, that being disabled is not always a fun experience. And so wellness and self-care is really critical, and sometimes being creative and throwing yourself into artwork can be not only healing, and help us with overcoming trauma and coping with pain and things like that. It's just a really good opportunity to express ourselves in new and different ways that feels good. So you can see our exhibit at the College of DuPage, which is in Elgin. Oh, no, wait, no, it's not in Elgin. Where is it? I'm like blanking on the suburb. It's in one of the western suburbs of Chicago. So there's also a really amazing Frida Kahlo exhibit with a lot of her artwork on loan from the Casa Azul in Mexico, where she is from, and the Mexican Museum of Art there. And so we really thank you for sharing. Thank you, Jason, for sharing about Trace Freitas. Appreciate it.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure, and it's I think it's important to highlight, the creativity, and how your project is really bringing representation of disability and art together in a really, really amazing way. And yes, we'll make sure that the information about the exhibit and other links around Frida and the Trace Frida project will be included in the handout materials when we release the information you all next week. So, and as we kind of come to our closing part of today's session on wellness, just want to really come together and acknowledge that being healthy and well is what? It's awesome.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
Awesome.
It is empowering. It is good. It is awesome to be healthy and well. And all the wellness and healthy activities, it doesn't have to be complicated. Doesn't have to be scary. We can take our own time and move at our own pace. And it's all just good and awesome. And so let's do a review of what we've discussed today. So Patty, can you read our summary of what we've covered today?
Wellness, COVID safety, healthy living, healthy eating and exercise, movement and exercise, mental health and reduced stress, breathing and relaxation, relationship and sexuality wellness, advocate for health and wellness, self-care.
So did we cover everything in a good way?
I'm sure we did.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of information. You all were fantastic. I really learned a lot. I think we learned a lot from each other with your wonderful ideas around self-care and exercise and healthy eating and all the wonderful ways that you take care of yourselves and promote healthy living and stay wealthy and stay healthy together. So thank you all for your engagement and ideas. And as we mentioned, it's all about staying healthy makes it possible for us to get out there and use that energy to advocate, activate advocacy for all, for the things that we care about.
Yes, yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Jay-Jin and Patty. And this
You're
is
welcome.
Yeah, this is Christine again. And as we close out our day, reminding you to use your Activating Advocacy for All rally handout. Jay-Jin, if you go to the next slide. So in particular, we're not going to talk about this now, but I want you to think through and maybe even write it down, share it with somebody else. I can be strong and healthy. My wellness goals are, again, what are your next steps at being strong and healthy? What are your wellness goals? So I trust that you are going to think about that and that you may even write that down and share it with some other folks. So next slide, show us how you are feeling. I know I'm feeling awesome. I'm also feeling a little bit hungry, but mostly I'm feeling awesome. So thank you for that. Next slide. What was your favorite part of today? So just briefly type it into the chat box. Did you have a favorite part? And if you didn't have a favorite part, that's okay too. Certain things speak louder to us than other things. It is all good. But what was your favorite thing today? If you had a favorite thing, what did you learn? All right, Mary is going to exercise and eat healthy. And Catherine enjoyed the chance to speak up with our thoughts. Yeah, Mary enjoyed mental health and stress reduction. I know I enjoyed the permission and the reminder that I am worth practicing self-care. I am worth it. Eating healthier snacks. And Kenny liked sexual self-advocacy. Yeah, our sexuality is part of who we are, just part of our whole person. Thank you, Jenny. I enjoyed that you were here with all of us. And so let's look at the next slide. We have been mentioning that we have different monthly activities, and the Alliance has the following monthly events for health and wellness. On the second Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m., we have Healthy Living Chit Chat. So you saw some of the information that Jay-Jin and Patty shared with us that came from Healthy Living Chit Chats. We also have on the third Friday of the month at 11 o'clock, we have Relationships on Tap. We talk all about relationships. And one of the things about Relationships on Tap, we do not record that session like we record other ones, so that you can feel more comfortable coming and talking about the relationship information that's important to you. So that is not recorded. And we do all of these on Zoom, Tommy. So glad that you mentioned that. All these are done on Zoom, so you can join with a computer. Some people join with their phone. You can get that information in our monthly newsletters, on our email listservs, and on our Facebook page. So coming up tomorrow, we are wrapping it up and bringing it home. It is our call to action, the future of self-advocacy. So we're going to talk about the future of services in this great state of Illinois, in which many of us live. We'll talk about the future of self-advocacy. We're going to talk about goal setting and action planning. And then we're going to have a rally recap. But I'm going to do a drum roll because we are getting ready to announce the winner, the self-advocate winner of today's rally. This person was chosen randomly using random.org. And today's winner is Sabrina L. Sabrina, she is at Trinity Services in New Lenox, Illinois. Congratulations, Sabrina, on being today's rally drawing winner. Noelle Ann King will be connecting with you so that you can choose the rally gift certificate of your choice. And our next winner is for staff and professionals. And who is that? Bob Foster from New Star Services in Chicago Heights, Illinois. Congratulations, Bob. You are today's staff professional rally drawing winner. And Noelle Ann King will be getting with you so that you can choose your gift card. So congratulations to our winners. And as we close out today, we thank you for choosing to spend your time learning with and from us and each other. If you'd like to reach out to the Alliance, you can connect with Tara Ahern. She is the project director. We also have an Alliance email. You're welcome to email us. Check out our free and fabulous website. And if you are a social media user on Facebook, find us and like us. Until we see you tomorrow, keep on speaking up, speaking out, and activating advocacy for all. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.